the streaming. There we go. Let me confirm. Yep. Okay, so it is streaming now. And now we can take roll. Oh, I need to do one more thing because there's one person who is online. So I need to let him know that there's a new link. There we go. Okay, now we're good. All right, taking roll, right? So today is 914. All right, so we want to do the edit so you can see the answer. The answer is SDF1. And I'll give you guys until 4:20 to answer this. There we go. SDF1 stands for Super Dimension Fortress 1, which is the technical designation of Macross, if you watch the anime. Some of you may have your parents watching that anime, and they look at this and go like, but it's not Macross. This is what is the other name of the anime series? Robotech. That's it. Robotech. All right. So I'll let you guys finish that, and I am going to go back to the module. Once I find it, right there we go. Okay. Close that part. All right, so the next question is, I think last time I asked you guys, so if I have a 5-dimensional space, but each dimension is still a natural number space, can that be folded into a single dimension natural number space? The answer is yes, it can. Okay, all we have to do is to apply the G function in a nested fashion. So let me show you. I'll just write it out using Zerno, and I need to get to Zerno on my side too. There we go. Okay. So the idea is if you have a coordinate, let's say 5-dimensional coordinate, which is A, B, C, D, E, and you want to map it to a single natural number, what you can do, one way to do it, okay, is to say this is G of A of G of B, comma, G of C, comma, G of D, comma, E, and then we have close, 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 close. Because you can apply G in a nested fashion. Now, this is not recursive, okay? This is not recursive. This is just nested. So if you apply G nested in this way like 4 times, then you can convert a 5-dimensional coordinate into a single natural number. I think it's kind of cool because, it basically is saying, dimensionality has nothing to do with the cardinality of the set. But if you think about it, this is a little bit I still think it's a little bit mind-blowing, even though I've worked on all this stuff, derived all the equations, but from a more intuitive perspective, it is kind of still amazing. It's kind of interesting.
So by genericizing it for 2 dimensions, you've effectively genericized it for infinite dimensions? Because you just
any dimension, I would say any known and finite dimension.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, that is correct. What you said is correct. But there are more than one ways to do it because you can nest it in different ways. So we can still call it a domain. Sorry? We still call it a domain. So A is a coordinate in one of the dimensions. So there are 5 dimensions in this for this particular. It's not a pixel anymore because a pixel is the abbreviation of picture element. So it's basically one thing of a picture. And 3-dimensional thing is, okay, I think you should know this one. So how do we call a single finite item in a 3-dimensional space when each dimension is only a natural number? It's a design hub thing. It's called a voxel. It's called a voxel for volume element. Okay, but the volume element implies it's in a 3-dimensional space. I don't even know how to call an element in 4-dimensional space, let alone a 5-dimensional space. So I don't know exactly what name I would call this, but it is one element in a 5-dimensional space where each dimension is the set of all natural numbers. Okay, are we okay? Are we good so far? Now I do want to emphasize that the notes is long and windy, and also contains all the derivations, because I don't want to just show you the final form, which is this one over here for the inverse function, and it is this one here for the forward direction, because I want to show you the rationale that goes into the derivation of these functions. Is it going to be useful to you? Are you going to go into a job interview and your boss and your potential boss or employer is going to ask you how to derive this G function? The answer is probably no. Okay. On the other hand, if you can just kind of look at this and go like, okay, I can kind of see how text mind works. Okay, how I look at the patterns, recognize, oh, I see a pattern here. How do I exploit that pattern? How do I turn that pattern into an expression? How to generalize, right? So if you look at that and extract the strategies that I used in the process of deriving the actual functions, then you might have to learn something that can be useful because you can reapply that technique to different kinds of problems. So that is the reason why I include all the derivations, all the rationale behind the derivation as well in these notes. All right, because I don't want people to kind of panic and go like, okay, are we going to be tested on how to derive equations like this? The answer is no. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. All right, so with that said, we have about 6 minutes or so. So I can give you a preview of what we'll be talking about next Monday. Let me show the announcement first, because the announcement is kind of important in this case. So we just took row for 440. So the first thing we'll definitely talk about on next Monday is, okay, let's go back to the announcements. It's going to be the exam. Okay, so I thought I put the exam schedule here too, but apparently not. Did I talk about next? Okay, I guess I did not. It's okay, it's on the calendar, so I can talk about it. So our first exam is going to be the Monday after next Monday. So that will be 7 plus 4, 11 days. Okay, let me show you where you can find it. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom on Canvas, you should find the calendar. Where is my calendar? There you go. So I think you guys can see that too. So if you go to View Calendar, you will find an entry for Exam 1. So this way you don't forget. You might want to set the same calendar item on your personal calendar so you don't forget. So the 26th is the date when we are going to have the first exam for this class. That's, by the way, week 6. Okay, so it's about 1/3 through the semester. It's a little past 1/3 of the semester. The scope of the exam is up to and including Aleph No. So everything that we talked about today is part of the scope of exam 1. Is that okay? All right. Now I have another document that I have not released yet, but I want to share with you, would be the exam policy. Yes, I know there's a lot of stuff here. I would say 90% of this stuff is common sense, but I do want to make everything explicit so that no one can tell me, but you didn't tell me. So first of all, the exam is going to be individual. What does that mean? Well, that means the submission reflects the independent and original work of the person identified by the submission itself. Okay? With no prior knowledge of the exam questions other than what is disclosed in class to all students. Any deception or otherwise unfair and or dishonest action to attempt to show a competency that is above that of the person identified in the submission is a violation of academic integrity. Okay, can someone translate that into layman term? Yes, go ahead. No cheating. Okay, so can someone give me examples of behaviors that is normally associated with cheating in the context of taking an exam?
Similar answers.
Hmm?
Similar answers to the people that are right by you.
Mm-hmm. Or the person behind you. I have seen that happening once. That person was turning around to look at the answer of the person behind to try to copy it. Okay, I find that fascinating. I wasn't angry at all. I wasn't pissed at all. I was just going like, I was doing the Spock thing, like, fascinating. Because first of all, the answer is upside down. It's rotated 180 degrees. That would be difficult to copy. Two, when that person has turned around, that person would not know whether I'm staring at that person or not, which I did for about a minute, and that person did not realize because that person turned around. So I'm just giving you some really kind of extreme examples that was kind of at least entertaining in this case. The start time is exact, so is the end time. Late arrival or start of an exam will not be compensated by additional time. The late arrival or start of an exam. That doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, anyone who show up late will not get extra time. So you better make sure that you are here by 3 p.m. Okay, earlier is fine. Okay, I can let you guys in earlier so you can lay out all your stuff. The next one is kind of important. It's open book and open notes, which means you can write anything on any number of sheets of paper and bring that with you. If you go out there and you find textbooks that talk about the space folding, function, which I really doubt, you can bring that with you. So anything that is printed prior to the start time of the exam, you can bring it in. Now, can you print like the module that I have written? Absolutely. Okay, no problem. Can you print out what you guys have captured on your own laptop, computer, or iPad? Absolutely. Print it out. As long as it's on a piece of paper, it's good. All right? So there's no limitation of how much stuff you can bring in, but I do have to warn you, the more stuff you bring in, the more difficult it becomes to look for a particular thing. So you might want to condense all the content into fewer number of pages, because one, when you're doing that, what are you doing? You're studying. You're going over all the material in order to come up with a condensed list of items that you think I might need this in the exam. So you're automatically studying already as you're preparing for the condensed format. Two, it makes it easy to search because your mind is fresh. Okay, this is the last thing that you did related to the material of this class. So you can find stuff more easily if you are to make a condensed version of that note. So open book and open notes, even for an exam that is conducted, well, this is not going to be electronic, so don't bother with this one. So no exchange or passing of books, notes, or any media or any content that is considered or any content is considered collaboration and interaction. Okay, give you an example. So you brought along every single possible note, that may be applicable. The person next to you go like, I did not even remember today is the exam, and then proceeded to ask you, can I borrow your notes? Your answer would be no. All right? So make sure that you remember to bring your own notes and do not count on, taking the note from somebody else, in the exam. Okay, so make sure that you bring your own notes with you. And this is going to be a in-person and paper-based exam. So we are not going to use electronics, no computers, no iPads, no earbuds, no cell phones, no fitness watch. All right. Um, so that's, let's see here. We're almost out of time, close to. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. Okay, so the next main section talks about, if an exam is in-person and paper-based, you can use a dedicated calculator. So for those of you who think, okay, I need a calculator to do some calculations, you can use a scientific calculator. All other electronics should be turned off, silenced, disabled, and or put away so it cannot be seen or heard from. This includes, but is not limited to, cell phones, earbuds, fitness watches, and so on. The instructor can use the projector to display the current time. So if you guys are concerned about, but my fitness watch is the only thing that can tell me the time, that's okay. I can display the time on these two projectors. Some people have complained to me and go like, that gives me a lot of pressure because that clock is so huge. Even without watching, without looking at the screen, you can feel the second ticking. It's like tick, 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 tick. So I can reduce the font size so it's not as obvious, if that is what you're concerned about. We are running out of time, so I will release this, publish it to the class so that you guys can quickly go over this, especially on questions that you can ask during the exam. So I want to give you examples of things that you can ask, but I will not answer. Yes. What's the word for attendance? All right. Well, I'll see you guys on Monday, and I'll give you a practice exam on Monday as well. So on Monday, we'll go over a practice exam, which does not guarantee the format of your own exam, okay? It is just the exam of the previous semester. That's all I can guarantee it had happened already. All right, so I'm going to turn off the recorder, and then I can answer some questions before I